As the movie begins, we see a company that offers a unique service. It transfers age from one person to another. The person donating their age is paid a large sum of money. This service is aimed at rich people who are growing old and want to become young again. The company finds a donor willing to give up some of their years through a medical process, essentially selling a portion of their youth. The film opens by showing a highly advanced future where such technology exists. We are introduced to Max, a manager at this company. His job is to find suitable donor-recipient matches, which is not an easy task. Finding a donor is very difficult, and even if someone is a match, they must willingly agree to give away a part of their life. Their DNA must also be compatible with the recipient. Max's role involves convincing potential donors to sell their age. On this day, Max goes to meet a particular family. They have an 18-year-old boy who turns out to be a perfect donor match for one of Max's wealthy clients. Max tells the boy that if he agrees to sell 15 years of his life, the company will pay him 700,000 euros. Max explains that with that kind of money, the boy can do anything, get a good education, help his family, and completely change their lives. The boy starts thinking about it. Losing 15 years of his youth is a huge deal. But Max is very persuasive. He's skilled at convincing his clients. The boy realizes that there's no way he can earn that much money in 15 years. Though his mother is heartbroken by the idea, their family is extremely poor, and they eventually agree to the deal. After the deal is finalized, Max returns to the company. In this future society, poor people live in slums, while the rich enjoy luxurious homes. There are also protesters who constantly oppose the company's practices. Back at the company, a big meeting is held. Max and other managers are given awards for their performance, recognition for bringing in many donors. Here we are introduced to Sophie, the head of the company and the original creator of the age donation idea. Her concept is still in use to this day. Sophie gives a speech during the meeting, saying that this process benefits everyone involved. However, many employees at the company feel that what they're doing is morally wrong. Still, because they are also poor and need the job, they stay silent and continue working. Sophie says, "We give our workers a very good life because they have to work for our company for a long time." She then talks about great scientists, saying, "Just imagine how far the world would have progressed if these scientists had lived not just 50 or 60 years, but 150 years. She reveals that the company has donated age to 15 scientists. Then, we are shown the facility where these scientists are located. Each of them receives 15 years of youth, and they are overjoyed as they become young again. But suddenly, a nurse enters and starts shooting them with a gun. Everyone panics and tries to escape. The company suffers a huge loss due to this incident. It turns out this nurse belongs to a group called Atom, which opposes the company and the technology it uses. Once Sophie finds out, she becomes furious. We are introduced to two highly capable individuals who work as her personal guards. In the next scenes, we learn more about the company and about the selfish nature of Sophie. She is willing to do anything for the company. If a donor refuses to give up their age, the company secretly plans to eliminate them. They consider the Atom Group as enemies. After hearing about Atom's attack, the company speeds up its operations even more. In the next scene, we see Max living a happy and successful life. He lives in a luxury house with his wife. They deeply love each other. His wife works at a hospital. When she returns home, Max is seen cooking for her, which makes her feel very happy. They bought their house by taking a loan, which hasn't been fully paid off yet, but Max is confident that he'll be able to repay it. So he remains relaxed. He loves children and dreams of having a family. The couple spends some quality time together. In the next scene, Max's wife goes to visit her parents. Her father is strongly against the company, so he and Max often argue about it. Max never speaks badly about the company. He wants people to understand how hard they all work. Later that evening, Max and his wife return home, only to find their building on fire. Their house is completely destroyed in the blaze. His wife becomes very worried, but Max comforts her. He tells her, "Just relax, it's only the furniture that was lost. Since the house caught fire, the insurance company will cover the loan." However, they receive a big shock when the insurance company refuses to pay. They claim the fire was caused by a candle, which is considered negligence, so the insurance won't cover the loan. Both husband and wife become deeply stressed, as the loan amount is huge, 2.5 million euros. Max realizes that even if he works his entire life, he won't be able to pay it off. They go to meet a lawyer, who tells them there's only one way out. Before taking the loan, Max's wife had signed a security clause stating that if they failed to repay it, she would donate 40 years of her life to the bank. Max is shocked to learn this. He had no idea about it until now. They're completely trapped. They must either repay the loan or give up those 40 years of life. Max says he'll donate his 40 years instead, but there's no suitable match for him. However, there is a match for his wife. Suddenly, their lives fall into serious danger. Still, Max stays strong and keeps encouraging his wife. He tells her, "Don't worry, I'll figure something out." But just as they leave the lawyer's office, the police arrest Max's wife. They fear she might run away, and the bank's rules are extremely strict. Now Max has no one to turn to for help, so he approaches his boss, Sophie. She says, "Okay, I'll help you." But even after 2 weeks, Max receives no help at all. He becomes even more worried because the day is approaching when the bank will extract 40 years of life from his wife. Finally, Max and his lawyer go to the bank one last time to try and see his wife. But they don't allow him to meet her. Through a medical process, 40 years of her age is transferred to an old person. The loan is cleared, but Max brings his wife home, now aged and elderly. Max continues searching for a way to make her young again. The couple still dreams of having children, but now it's impossible. Because of the sudden aging, Max's wife is deeply sad. Nothing is the same between them anymore, not like how things used to be. One day, while Max is sitting in the park, a young girl approaches him. She has a bag filled with drugs and is trying to sell them. Max doesn't buy the drugs, but he remembers the girl. Unable to bear seeing his wife in that aged condition, Max decides to find someone who can donate age to her. He makes up his mind, "I will definitely get my wife's youth back." He leaves his wife at her parents' house. When her parents see her so old, they blame Max. But Max says, "Don't worry. I'll make everything right." Later, Max approaches the same girl he saw selling drugs. It turns out she's not really a child. She had her age medically reversed to appear younger. Max wants to find out how she did it. She tells him, "To receive age, you need euros. Also, there has to be someone to give age and someone to receive it. And this process can only be done in Russia." So Max travels to Russia. First, he identifies the donor who originally gave the age to his wife. He discovers the donor is a woman. He finds her, knocks her unconscious, and kidnaps her. Then he goes to his wife and tells her everything. She supports him. They decide to leave their country and escape together. Just as they're about to leave, Max finds out that the woman he kidnapped is actually Sophie's daughter, the head of the company. But Max later learns the age taken from his wife was not for Sophie's daughter, it was for Sophie herself. Still, Max decides to take Sophie's daughter with them, thinking that since she is Sophie's daughter, there's a chance their DNA might match, which could help in reversing the age transfer. Meanwhile, Sophie's 2 elite guards find out her daughter has been kidnapped. They immediately suspect the Adam Group. But then they realize something is off. Adam Group is known for killing, not kidnapping. So, they deduce that someone else is behind this. Given their access and intelligence, they eventually figure out that the one who did this is Max, a worker from their own company. The same Max whose wife's youth was stolen by Sophie herself. Max and his wife escape with Sophie's daughter by sea, trying to cross the border. They lock Sophie's daughter inside a box during the escape. But when they reach the port, there's heavy security everywhere. Still, they decide to take the risk because they have no other option. To get through, they use a family to their advantage. Inside the family's car are Max, his wife, and Sophie's daughter, who is still locked in a box. The security gets suspicious, but Max manages to handle the situation without drawing attention. Eventually, they cross the border successfully. One day, after they remove the cloth from Sophie's daughter's mouth, she says, "I'm not Sophie, I'm Sophie's daughter." Max replies, "No problem. Blood relations work the same. Your DNA will match. I'll make my wife young again." But his wife doesn't like this idea either. Sophie's daughter then says, "I'm also against my mother's dangerous work." However, Max doesn't believe her and ties her up again. Later, They go to an abandoned hotel for the night. There, Sophie's daughter says she wants to take a shower. She pleads, "Please let me bathe." Max, showing sympathy, allows her. He walks her to the bathroom and turns away so he doesn't see her. But the girl is very clever. She attacks Max with something and escapes. Max suffers a head injury but chases after her. She runs into a forest, but can't go far because there's a water body ahead. She's afraid of water, so she can't swim and begins to drown. Max's wife arrives just in time and pulls her out of the water. They take her back to the hotel and tie her hands and legs. Meanwhile, Sophie is preparing a rescue team to save her daughter. Her loyal guards are assigned to lead the mission. These guards have worked for Sophie for over 30 years because she extended their age too. They locate Max's position and prepare to attack with Sophie. The next morning, members of the Atom Group and their leader arrive at the hotel room. They also received intel about Max. The Atom Group has been waiting for the right opportunity to destroy Sophie and her company. Now, with Sophie's daughter in their custody, they believe they finally have a chance. Sophie is willing to do anything to save her daughter. But then, the Atom Group captures all three of them, Max, his wife, and Sophie's daughter, as hostages. Max tries to explain everything to their leader. "Please don't harm us. We're also against the company." The leader responds, "I know. Sophie wanted to stay young forever. And your wife is the only match in the world to donate age to her. That's why she trapped both of you, just for her purpose. She even caused the fire in your house on purpose. It was all part of a big plan. That company will do anything to get what they want," the Atom leader tells them. She adds, "Sophie made your wife old and destroyed your lives." Until now, Max didn't know any of this. After learning the truth, he feels devastated. Meanwhile, Sophie and her team prepare to attack the hotel to rescue her daughter. But this is exactly what the Atom Group leader wants. She needs Sophie because she wants to punish her for all the wrong she's done and show the entire world. Now, Max has no other choice. If he wants to save his wife, he must follow the leader's instructions. The plan is made. Max must lure Sophie inside the building. Once she enters, the Atom Group will capture her. In the next scene, Sophie and her team are outside the hotel. Max comes out and says, "I just want to talk to Sophie." Sophie steps forward and says, "Let my daughter go. I'll give you a lot of money." Max replies, "All right, but let's go inside and talk." Sophie's guards become suspicious and point guns at Max, saying, "This is a trap." Seeing the guards' guns, the Atom Group leader orders her men to shoot. Gunfire erupts from both sides. Max takes advantage of the chaos and escapes with his wife and Sophie's daughter. Max's wife begins to feel sympathy for Sophie's daughter and decides to change her decision. She no longer wants to ruin the girl's life. But very soon, she realizes that Sophie's daughter is just as selfish as her mother. She decides she shouldn't feel sorry for her. She takes Sophie's daughter to the doctor for the medical process. In the next scene, Max's wife is young again. Max then joins the Atom Group because he now wants to destroy Sophie's company. Meanwhile, Sophie's daughter is becoming old and starts to feel sad. If she wants to become young again, there's only one possible donor left, her mother, Sophie. But Sophie is so selfish, she refuses to donate even to her own daughter. Later, Max and the Atom Group launch a full attack on Sophie's company, completely destroying it. And that's how the movie ends. Thank you for watching our movie recap. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing for more great content. Your support means a lot to us. Have a wonderful day.